Good morning, it's Grandpa Butler. Time to have fun doing some coloring this morning. So we've got a picture here of a tree swallow at the request of one of the grandkids. We're going to try and do some sky today. And really, it's an experiment. So we've used these blues, this light blue and regular blue and Prussian blue, and a little bit of gray we put in here, and it's really an experiment. So we're going to spray that, and then we're going to use on our tree swallow here, we're going to use this blue here, night blue and a very light cobalt blue and a raw umber for the darker wings down here. And for the fall trees, we're going to use these colors here, crimson, ochre, orange, and yellow. So that's our plan, and let's see how it goes. So we're going to start out here by spraying the colors that Grandpa did and see if we can get a cloud. So we're using this little tiny, relatively inexpensive spray bottle here, and Grandpa will spray it off camera for a second here. And as he does that, these colors really sort of start coming alive. You can see them here when I put them back on camera. And so the idea here is we'll just kind of merge these together with our paintbrush here, and I put the blue down here to indicate the top of the tree line that I'm going to put in here in a bit. So far I'm okay with this. Normally I love to leave pigment, little lines here in my paintings is kind of an indication marker of the life of the object I'm doing here. So coming over here on my right and getting the darker hues in the skies here. But with skies and water, right, especially skies, you don't want to leave too much of the pigment there. But I think for an experiment, first time ever, this has been that kind of fun. So I'm starting to ask, why didn't I do this before? Well, let's put clouds here. Got some water here, got some blues. We'll just put some clouds here. Little dabs of white here, and I'm going to clean up some of the pooling on the top here. Okay, well, very interesting experiment. Obviously Grandpa will have to experiment some more before he gets it down exactly. We've got some moisture around the bird, so the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to go down and hit the trees here. So let me dab the bird off here so he can be drying out. And so this is why people do their taping down the object here, isn't it? Well, I just didn't think about that, and I'm okay with it being a little bit wiggly in my hands here, because my hands are already a little bit wiggly. Oh, old age is interesting. Don't wish it on yourself too early. Wait until it comes naturally to you. Okay, so there's kind of some green, but I want some fall foliage. So we've got, I'm going to try some yellow. This is a bright yellow. It's It's called actually golden yellow here and there, and some orange. And we'll mix them together. We'll lighten up the yellow first, and I'm going to put some more orange in here, right? I'm going to put some orange in here. And then the orange, and then come back and get the green. I think to indicate sort of the presence of trunks and tree limbs, I'm going to put some crimson in amongst the other colors here. So coming up to the branch here, I'm going to put, by way of contrast, some yellow, a little bit of yellow right up to the branch there. Okay, I think, we haven't colored them up yet, but I think I might like those. We should color them up now while our bird continues to be drying out there. Lovely bird. And oh, let's do the yellow first. Okay, too much water on your brush, Grandpa. Always doing too much water on your brush. Can't you remember from video to video not to do too much water on your brush? Well, sort of. Sort of, I can remember that. Yeah, so far I'm liking that well enough. Kind of leave the impression of fall foliage. And I guess I should get my orange in there before I get all the green mixed. Otherwise the orange may completely disappear in the greenness of the picture here. Okay, now let's come and get the green. So go on top here and then come back here. I think we're getting the idea that this is fall foliage from this. And of course sky there. And so get a crimson up here and put a few. It's still wet, so it's an interesting kind of phenomena to put your watercolor crayons into the still wet area. I kind of like all these different kinds of experiments that we're doing here with these. So you get an idea that these are trees and not balloons in a park waiting to go up. But who knows, they could be balloons in the park. Okay, so yeah, I'm okay with that. Let's get to our bird. So, our bird colors. It's a beautiful bird. Get my picture closer here so I can get these colors, I think, closer to the picture. Let me put some ochre here. Actually, I've got my ochre in hand. Let me ochre and maybe crimson. A bit of dark yellow on the beak, which otherwise is going to be talons here, and raw umber here, just kind of like a dark brown. We'll go on this branch here, and hopefully it'll be dark enough that when we put some water on it, bring it to life, you can distinguish between the trees and the birds pretty good. Yeah. Okay, I think that will work. So, just to be sure, maybe we'll have crimson on the bottom, just a woody contrast. Okay, now we'll touch it up and then we'll go back and finish off with the bird. Okay, except for having too much water on my brush here initially. I think it's working out okay. I like the way these colors, when you brush them together, sort of come alive. Okay, so there's, now we come back to our main object of our painting, our bird. So we're going to have some blue coming down here, a little bit of blue on the top, and here. It's got this white collar here. We'll leave a little of the light blue in there just for fun. And then really we have a kind of darker blue here on a good part of our little woodland friend here. And darker blue around the eyes, white collar. And on these birds, leaving some pigment behind. Now Grandpa's coloring the bird here in the direction that his feathers go and his body goes here. And so he's going to do kind of blues on that side. I think I'm going to bring the blues down here and then pick up some darkness with the raw umber. Where are you? And here's the raw umber. And I'm going to put a little bit of blueness through here, but I'm going to try and distinguish the different feather types here with mostly with my raw umber here. Be more on this side, and I'll leave the dark blue on the other side. So I'll come in here and so I'm mixing the raw umber here and here, and underneath what we have mostly is we mostly have a white on his breast by his talons there, and so maybe a little bit of Payne's gray here down, just a little bit. Now let's see what we've got. We got this tail. So this is that side. This comes down from the body. So maybe just some dark blue to contrast with that raw umber that's above it, so you can see the distinguishing features here. Okay, so let's go and in the direction that we put the crins down, we're also going to stroke with our little water brush that Grandpa's using. And you can use any kind of watercolor brush for this. Grandpa's just discovered that this particular kind is easy to take out on his hikes when he's doing watercolors there. And it's easy to take and go visit the grandkids and they want to do art. Which is, more often they want to play games, which I think is wonderful. Okay, so here we come over, dip the brush, wipe it off again, and we're getting into our raw umber mix. And Grandpa's trying to leave some of the blue there but nonetheless, bring that raw umber out into the tails and the rest here. Now we have the bottom here. So what I think maybe I ought to do is just get out my pencil here and touch up my bird a bit. So in particular, I think, when you look at the picture here, there's more form around the eye, so we'll touch that up. And touched up the wings a bit here. That's a beautiful shape here. And a few more feathery details there. But I think our bird is okay. The tree swallow. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Thank you for joining me.